Hello, everybody. Welcome to Reserve Seating. I am very excited to be rejoined by Sonia this week. How you doing, Sonia?
I am great. How are you?
I'm great too. We sent out a tweet saying, or a post.
A
Blue
sky?
Sky's a post. A
Yeah,
sky?
post. I don't know. Who cares?
A
Yeah,
skeet?
a
Is that
ski.
what they call?
We're skeeting everywhere.
Yeah, we're real Ulriches this month.
Arch.
Um, That was a bad joke. We sent out a post on Blue Sky asking for your mailbag questions for Halloween season horror movie related questions and topics. You guys came through for us like you always do. We are going to start out with Jennifer, who wishes Sonia a happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Sonia.
Thank you.
And everybody wish not only Sonia a happy birthday, but by the time this airs, Rob will have had a birthday this week. So please wish him a very
Yeah.
happy birthday too. I feel left out.
Yeah, sorry, Adam.
Libras.
No birthday for Adam.
No, mine's in, I won't even say, but I'm
If
a
it, if
Gemini.
it
So
makes you guys feel any better, I imagine that by the time you guys see this, my Phillies will be out of the postseason.
Jennifer
Yes.
asks, what are some go-to movies to watch on Halloween? I'm always perplexed that theaters show The Shining, which is a movie I like but doesn't feel Halloween-y to me. And I would agree with that. It's more of like a winter months movie for me. Or like sp it's like a good spooky winter break or like the beginning of January. It's like when that first blizzard hits and everything
Yeah.
like that. But that's beside the point. Why don't we start with you, Sonia? What are some movies that you recommend for Halloween night viewing?
I really like to watch Halloween 3, the
Yeah.
season of the
Yeah.
witch. I think that one is super fun. It's I think probably the most fun of all the Halloween movies. So I like that one a lot. And I also really like, I'm sorry, I have notes on my
Do
phone.
it.
House
No,
on
go for it.
Haunted Hill from 1959 with
Yeah.
Vincent Price, because I'm a big Vincent Price fan.
It's a really good question because, like, yeah, like The Shining doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, The Thing, like, there's movies where they're great horror movies, but they don't make a lot of sense for Halloween. For me, Halloween is always just like Halloween centric. I think about kids, I think about costumes, I think about like teenagers. Like, so I think about like any like teen slasher movie, like especially like a teen slasher movie like a Halloween that's set on Halloween or involves like groups of kids going out and like doing mischief and stuff like that. And anything like that, any of those 80s slashers that really dive into like here's a group of kids. Like I just watched one for our episode next week
Mm.
that we'll be doing with Leo. And it's Night of the Demons, which is like a like platonic ideal of like it's a bunch of kids in a haunted house and there's a demon and like that that's the kind of stuff that I really feel like anything spooky haunted, anything costumes or kids, those are the ones that really stand out.
So I made a list. So I would say Ghostbusters
Sure.
is one. Anything like kind of on the lighter side of Halloween season or horror movies, I think would be good. Like horror comedies are great for Halloween
Yeah.
night because you kind of want to like dovetail nicely into closing the chapter on Scary Movie Month and moving on to like non-horror fare in November. Horror anthologies are really good. I
Mm.
suggested Dead of Night from the 1940s. As Sonia said, any Vincent Price movie is money in the bank on Halloween. Carnival of Souls,
Yeah.
short,
That's
spooky.
creepy. Yeah.
Demon Knight, super fun, kind of a party Halloween movie. The movie Kenny and Company by Don Coscarelli. It's an early movie from him. It's got a lot of like, it's set on Halloween night, a lot of trick or treating, things like that. It's fun. It's like a lot of kids getting into misadventures out in the neighborhood. Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, if you want to kind of have like a monster mash type of thing. Hocus Pocus, of course, set on Halloween, has great autumn vibes. And then I would say I love the end of Bubba Hotep,
Yeah.
where it's like he's fading out and he's thanking the heavens, and that's kind of the way to like close out a big, barrage of horror goodness in October. Next question comes from Chris.
Mhm.
I believe I unconsciously avoided Toby Hooper movies most of my adult life because I watched Poltergeist in theaters when I was 8 and then saw parts of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre on VHS the following year. What were some of your most intense kinder trauma experiences?
So what's funny is the one that comes to mind first is not even anything to do with the movie because I was actually just too terrified to watch the movie, and that's Poltergeist. I my best friend growing up, my friend Eileen, when I was like real small, we lived across the street from each other, and often would like we had working parents, and so we would bounce back and forth like sleeping over each other's houses. Like our parents would like send us one of us across the street, and I remember the one night Eileen loved horror movies, and she put on Poltergeist, and I was just terrified of it. I don't remember the specifics of it, but I remember the trauma part of it is that she then would constantly try to get me to watch it. Like she was always like tricking me into being like, "Oh, it's like come here real quick," and like come in and it's on, and I'm like, "No, no, no." Like,
Did you
yeah,
say, "Come on, Eileen"?
yeah. The other more major one though is actually funny because it's The Silence of the Lambs, which is of course one of my favorite movies, horror or otherwise, and it's a movie that I associate, with my mom. Like you're talking about Saturday Night Fever, Adam,
Mhm.
recently. And I love that movie. I had to grow into it though, and there's parts of it that are really scary. My mom always used to skip she would I never forget watching it at my grandmother's house. She would fast forward through the part, not to spoil the movie for anybody, but the part where Hannibal breaks out and he strings up the guards, in a really grotesque fashion. I remember
Yeah.
her specifically speeding, like fast forwarding through it, but there weren't chapter skips back then. It was fast forwarding a VHS. So I still saw it. I just saw the blur lines in
Just
between and it went
fast,
by very
just
fast.
faster.
It's just faster, so it's just like it
Yeah.
was, ripping off a band-aid basically. But so those are the two big ones for me.
I don't know if these count as movies, but they did traumatize. So one is the 1979 Salem's Lot,
Yeah.
Oh, I've never
which
seen it. Should I watch that?
I like it, but it scared the shit out of me as a kid because I would have been 8
Right.
when I
Mhm.
saw it. And the idea that a kid could get hurt, that a kid could get killed was absolutely terrifying to me because spoilers for Salem's Lot, but one of the kids turns into a vampire and
Yeah.
he kind of hangs around one of the windows and he's like scratching. I was absolutely terrified that that something bad could happen to a kid. And then the other one, my sister and I were just talking about this yesterday, is another TV movie. It's called The Day After, which
Oh, I've
is
heard of it. Yeah.
which traumatized her to the we had bunk beds, we shared a room, and she couldn't sleep for like months because of it messed her up. So those are TV movies, but I think they count,
It can. Oh,
right?
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, absolutely.
totally.
Yeah. And the preview for The Shining also fucked me
Is
up as a kid.
is that the elevator with the
Yes.
blood in the hallway? Yeah.
Yeah, it terrified me.
Okay, so I've answered this before, which is convenient because like I have my definite list. Like I don't even have to think about this. There's five things. One is not it's not a movie, but at the Land of Confusion music.
No video. Yeah.
Um
They are very creepy looking.
yeah, I just like wet puppet Ronald Reagan, like I couldn't handle it. Pizza the Hutt's laugh
From Spaceball.
from Spaceballs. Um, they would send me running out of the room. Dan Aykroyd's monster at the beginning of Twilight Zone, the movie, with you want to see something really scary.
Yeah.
And when he turned around, I basically like it was like when you see in a Looney Tunes cartoon where like there's an just like a cutout of somebody running through a wall. That was basically me. Um, Arachnophobia at the beginning when they catch the spiders in the jars when they fumigate the trees, and then they look at the one spider and it jumps in the jar. That was enough for me to want to leave the theater. And my dad took me out of the theater, which is one of the few times I can remember that ever happening. And then Skeletor popping out of the water at the end of Masters of the Universe and saying, "I'll be back," because I thought we extinguished evil and he's back.
Can I add one real quick? Because you reminded me of one.
Yeah.
Judge Doom and Roger Rabbit when he's transforming
Oh,
Oh
and
yeah.
there's that long shot that's like far and he's walking toward the camera. That freaked the fuck out of me when I was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Judge Doom made me sad where he dips the shoe.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not very nice.
No.
Yeah. Christopher Lloyd, usually such a nice man,
Usually such a nice man.
but when he goes dark, it's like that or Dennis the Menace, where he's 100% too dirty for that movie.
Real dirty, eating beans.
Yeah, just the
Mhm.
dirtiest shit ever. It's like Texas Chainsaw 2 dirty. All right, our next question comes from the great Miko.
Hey, Miko.
Which director who has never made a horror movie would you most like to see make one? His pick would be Nancy Myers, which I think is awesome.
That's
That's a really
awesome.
interesting answer. Sonia, why don't we go with you first?
Yeah.
I wrote down a few, and
Okay.
correct me if they have made horror movies and I somehow missed it, but I think I would love to see a Greta Gerwig horror movie.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm into it. I would love to see a Sarah Polley horror movie.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah.
you could maybe argue women talking is
Is
already a
sort
horror
of
movie.
yeah. I was thinking that,
It's
yeah.
pretty horrifying, but
Yeah.
that's the one
Yeah.
that made me think, I think she could go even darker. I think she could go darker.
The
And
women
I
can
also,
talk even more.
maybe, terrifying. And
Terrifying.
then Spike Jonze,
Hmm.
I think he could do one.
Mine feel really boring. I said PTA and George Miller. Um,
Okay.
I think just PTA, just because I'm just high on one battle after another right now, and I would just love to see
Never
it.
heard of it.
Yeah, we're not familiar with that movie, right? No, it's just a
No.
movie. Yeah. And George Miller just frenetic. Like I was thinking of. I use Fury Road as an example in my film class for something this week, and I was like, man, like I need to rewatch that. And thinking about the dichotomy of like Happy Feet and Mad Max in his filmography, I'm like, there should be a horror movie in the middle
This
there.
so weird.
And he has the best Twilight Zone the movie
That's right.
segment.
He
So
did a
like but
he
no,
did a
no, I'm not
Twilight
saying
movie.
that to rule it out. That wasn't a
I
feature. I'm just saying like he
Yeah.
could do a real good horror
I
movie.
forgot all about that.
I wasn't saying it to rule it out. My pick is Sofia Coppola
Yeah,
because her movies look beautiful. She's got great soundtracks. Her movies are emotionally charged, but also kind of interior. They're psychological, they're dreamlike. There's a lot of isolation. It reminds me of something like she could have knocked out like a Rosemary's Baby or something like
yeah,
that.
for sure.
That type of horror movie.
I'd watch that.
Yeah. Spike Jones wouldn't.
No, he would not. He would write a movie about not watching it.
No. Maybe Warner Brothers Spike Jones would watch it. Is he still alive? I don't know. Our next question comes from Drake. Um, in Shadow of the Vampire, who is the bigger monster, the Willem Dafoe character or the John Malkovich character? Rob, you
I'm
go
gonna,
first.
I'm gonna try. I'm just gonna tell you guys. I had every intention of watching this movie because I've never seen it and I did not get to it. So I apologize. I will defer to you guys.
Okay.
I saw it in the theater a long time ago, and strangely, there were a bunch of teenagers in there, and they were very, very bored. And I was like, "What the fuck are they even doing here?" But whatever. I think the John Malkovich character is the bigger monster because the actual monster can't help who he is, and John Malkovich is the director who knows
Yeah.
he could be better, and he chooses not to.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%, Sonia. I think like not to be a meh, but like I thought that was like the only reading of that the end of that movie was that John Malkovich was the bigger monster than Willem Dafoe.
I
Because
think so.
yeah, because he's just got no morals and the Willem Dafoe, as you mentioned, character of Max Schreck is just acting according to his nature. He can't help how he
Yes.
is. Okay, and then our last question. From M. Archer. With so many trends and eras of scary movies gone by, domestic and abroad, I'm letting you go back in time and attend opening weekend screenings for any 10-year period. What's yours and the movies that drew you there? Would you miss any favorites too far apart in time? His answer was he'd go with 1974 to 1984, just missing out on The Exorcist, but he'd prefer the experience with the crowd for Elm Street. 74 gets me
Mm.
in for Texas Chainsaw, and the following others drawing me there are Suspiria, Alien, and The Shining. I guess it's 11 years, but it sounds better than ending with the same number. So I did the same thing in the spirit of that. I picked an 11-year period. I think 74 to 84 is probably like the best answer, but because you had selected that already, I don't want to just copy. So I went with 1987 and 1997 because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
this is just like I want to relive some of these experiences, some of them that I've done, and other ones where I was just too young and I caught up with these movies on video and I wish I could have and I would be at the theater like opening weekend of Night of the Living Dead 90, but I'd be going to see Mr. Destiny or something like that. Or like I'd be there opening weekend of Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, but I'm seeing Ninja Turtles for the third time.
You don't regret you don't regret those choices though.
Not at all, not at all. So some of the ones I would pick, I would love to go to. I would love to be there for opening night of Demon Knight because I was shut out of that. I was carded and they wouldn't let me in. I would love to be there for opening night of Scream 1. I would love to be there for opening night again of Scream 2, which was like a rock concert. I would love to be there for the opening night of Leprechaun. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, Nightmare on Elm Streets 4, 5, and 6. Bram Stoker's Dracula. I would love to see the reaction of people on opening night of Alien 3. I would love to see Halloween 4 in a theater on opening night. Jaws the Revenge and see people's reaction. People Under the Stairs, Tales from the Dark Side, Child's Play. What was Chucky like on opening nights to unsuspecting viewers? What was Hellraiser 1 and 2 like to
Mm.
unsuspecting viewers? The Lost Boys. I mean, so I pick 87 to 97.
For the same reason Adam picked his, I also picked some movies that I was just too young to see at the time. So I just went slightly off from our question and I went 73 to 83.
Mhm.
And the movies were The Exorcist, Black Christmas, Jaws. Also, a lot of these wouldn't being able to see them in the theater right away would mean it wouldn't be ruined for me by like spoofs
Right.
and
Yeah.
just being in popular culture. So
Culture.
things like Carrie wouldn't have
Mm.
been ruined. Halloween, Alien wouldn't have been ruined. American Werewolf in London. I love Poltergeist. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. I would have loved to have seen it in the theater. And I also would have loved to have seen Sleepaway Camp
Oh
in
my
the
God.
theater. And
Yeah.
if you haven't read the book by uh, BJ and Harmony Colangio, I think
Yeah. Michelangelo.
Colangio, is that how you pronounce it?
So,
It's such a good book. Such a good book. It's so interesting. And then I watched the movie again after that and was like, it clicks. So that's mine.
When you said the thing about spoofs, that just it hit home for me because I saw Repossessed 5 times at least before I saw The Exorcist.
There were so many spoofs of The Exorcist and
Yeah.
so many of Alien. Like even in Spaceballs, where
Oh, sure. Yeah.
yeah, oh no, not again.
Hello, my baby.
yeah, it's hard not to see the top hat. Yeah, when I
Yeah.
watch Alien, it is hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Spaceballs 2. Great idea.
So mine, I bookended two of my favorite horror movies. I went December of '96 for Scream, the opening of Scream, and then I believe it's November. I can't remember. I didn't write the date down. Of '06 for my beloved Silent Hill. Everything in between that I wrote down, things like Event Horizon, Wishmaster, Psycho 98, Audition, Blair Witch, Deep Blue Sea, Hollow Man, Frailty, Mulholland Drive, 28 Days Later, May, the Dawn of the Dead remake, Saw, the first Saw, Shaun of the Dead, Constantine, The Descent, Hatchet, and The Host. Were the ones that I wrote down in between. I would love to have. I mean, some of these I did see in the theater, obviously, but others, I would have loved to have been in the theater for Blair Witch, which I was too young for. Mulholland Drive, obviously, I didn't get to see in a theater until this year. So, you know, Shaun of the Dead as well. Shaun of the Dead was such a big blockbuster video movie for me. Like we rented that so many times. It would have been really great to have been able to see it in the theater. So,
Yeah.
I saw Blair Witch in the theater, and it was before it became like the really big.
right.
It was like opening weekend, and the
Mhm.
people behind me were sobbing at the end of the movie, sobbing. And I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh my gosh!" I was like, "Are you okay?" And they're like, "I can't believe that happened to those people." And I was like, "Oh no!"
Yeah, I saw Blair Witch. It wasn't like when it was first in limited release, but like 2 weeks later they expanded it and it finally came out to like the suburbs. And I remember my friend worked at the theater and he snuck us in because it was sold out. And it was like three of us. And then right before the movie, three people came in and they couldn't, who had tickets, but they couldn't find seats. And that made me just as anxious and worried as anything in the movie because I was like, it's not gonna happen. Just leave. Just leave. I'm like, don't check tickets. Just leave. Well, thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Rob. This was really
Thank
fun.
you.
And thank you everybody for your questions. Really appreciate it. Those were some great ones. We are going to be back next week with our friend Leo Brady. We're going to be doing an episode called To Be Halloween. And we're covering three movies that are available on Tubi: Come to Daddy, Twins of Evil, and Night of the Demons from the 1988 one, not the remake. And we do have an announcement to make.
We do.
So Rob, do you want to take the honors or should I?
Uh, yeah. So we, with the end of Scary Movie Month this year, we'll be bringing reserve seating to a close. Um, we'll talk about that toward the end of the month, Adam. I think our second to last episode is going to be kind of just
Yeah.
a reminiscing discussion. We'll talk all about why that is. Everything's good, nobody worry. But it's something that it's come time, and we'll talk about why in a few weeks.
Yep. Yeah. So please tune in for the rest of the month. We
Please watch for
really
the rest of the month because
Yeah, we'll close out strong.
yes,
Neither myself, Rob, or Sonia are going anywhere. We're all
no,
going to be part of F This Movie podcast. Sonia and I are going to be doing articles together
It's gonna be
every
so
once in a while.
fun.
Yeah, we're talking about doing like a holiday movie preview type of thing. I don't know. Entertainment Weekly used to do it, and they dropped the ball, so let's pick it up.
Yeah.
yeah,
So we're not going
no.
anywhere. F This movie is just as strong as ever. It's just reserved seating. It's nearly 9 year run. It was
Mhm.
time to close the chapter on that one. So
And
we're
it's
gonna.
not my fault, you people.
It's
It's not
yeah.
my
No,
fault if
no.
you're
There's
like,
no if any. Listen, if anything,
I'm not
I
cousin
picked the
Oliver
worst.
here,
I picked the
okay?
worst possible time because
Yeah.
everybody loves Sonia on this thing, and
Yeah.
it's a bummer. Yeah, but like I said, we'll talk. No, we love you, Sonia. Oh my God, obviously. But I don't want to talk about it too much right now
Yeah.
because we'll talk about it later. Adam and I will discuss it later on. But yeah,
It's no Yoko Ono, it's Broko Onos. No, it's yeah. I mean, like we're gonna do To Be Halloween next week. The following week will be our kind of reserved seating series finale of sorts, where we kind of reminisce on the history of the show and chat about it and celebrate the show. And then the final episode is just gonna be a Scary Movie Month recap. We want to do a celebration of sorts and recommendations, and then. Yeah, that'll be it. But we have all the episodes available on YouTube for you to go backwards. I'm sure there's like two of you who've seen every episode, but some of you have not seen every episode. You can go backwards. And we also had written columns before we were a YouTube series. So yeah, we love you. Thank you for everything. And we're looking forward to talking to you again next week. And until next time.
Sonia, I think as you should take us out as your last appearance on reserve seating.
Oh, what am I supposed to say?
We've never been able to figure that out.
These seats are reserved?
There you go. That's totally the spirit of the end of reserve seating is
Yeah,
question mark.
it's just hmm?
We could so easily just be like, until next time, these seats are reserved. But like we decided for whatever reason, we have like we're afraid to
Yeah,
end it normally.
we don't want
And we just end it as awkwardly as possible. Kind of like this. Bye.
to. Bye.